Chapter 3. Building Something Beautiful from Broken Things. Part 1. The Invitation That Changed Everything. The text came at 6:47 a.m., which was somehow both too early and perfectly on time for Alava. Alava, so I know this is going to sound weird. Alava, but do you want to go on a date with me? Alava, to a junkyard. Alava, to build something. Alava, I know that's not a normal date, but nothing about me is normal so. Lexa stared at her phone from the middle of the ocean, treading water as the Miami sunrise painted everything gold. A date. An actual date. To a junkyard. With a woman who wanted a constellation and made her question everything she thought she knew about love. Lexa, yes. Lexa, wait. Lexa, yes. Alava, yes, or yes question mark. Lexa, yes exclamation point. Lexa, I have no idea what we're doing, but let's do it. Alava, perfect. Alava, pick you up at 2? Lexa, it's a date. Lexa stared at those 3 words, it's a date, and felt her heart do something complicated and terrifying. This is a mistake. This is going to hurt. She wants things you can't give her. But she was going anyway, because the storm was tired of being careful. Part 2. The Junkyard of Infinite Possibilities. Alava pulled up in a beat-up Honda Civic covered in bumper stickers that said things like, "Horror movies are therapy," and "Normalize weird," and "I break for constellations." Lexa climbed in, and the car smelled like coffee and metal and something vaguely sweet she couldn't identify. So, Lexa said, buckling her seatbelt. A junkyard. A junkyard, Alava confirmed, grinning like this was the most normal first date in the world. Trust me. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what we're doing. Neither do I. That's the best part. Lexa laughed despite herself. You're insane. You said yes anyway. I really did. The drive was 20 minutes of terrible pop music and easy conversation, the kind where silences felt comfortable instead of awkward, where Lexa kept catching herself staring at Alava's profile, the way the sunlight caught her black-purple hair, the way her hands moved when she talked. The junkyard was exactly what it sounded like, a sprawling lot filled with decades of discarded dreams. Rusted cars, broken appliances, twisted metal sculptures that used to be something useful. It should have been depressing. Instead, it felt full of potential. "Welcome to my cathedral," Alava said, spreading her arms wide. You're ridiculous. You keep saying that like it's a bad thing. It's not. They stood there for a moment, just looking at each other, and Lexa felt something shift, like the universe clicking a puzzle piece into place she didn't know was missing. So, what are we building? Lexa asked finally. I don't know yet, Alava admitted. That's the thing about creation. Sometimes you have to start before you know what you're making. That sounds like a metaphor. Everything's a metaphor if you're paying attention. They wandered through the chaos together, Alava pointing out interesting pieces, a car door with perfect symmetry, copper wire that caught the light like liquid gold, gears from some ancient machine that still turned smoothly despite decades of rust. What do you see when you look at this stuff? Lexa asked, genuinely curious. Alava picked up a twisted piece of metal, turning it in her hands like it was precious. I see second chances. Things that were thrown away because people thought they were broken, but they're not. They're just waiting to be something new. You really believe that? I have to. Alava's voice was soft. If broken things can't become beautiful, what hope do I have? Lexa's chest tightened. You're not broken. Neither are you. Their eyes met, and for a moment the junkyard disappeared. We should probably start building something, Alava said, breaking the moment with a nervous laugh. Before I say something stupid and ruin this. Too late, Lexa teased. You already invited me to a junkyard. The bar for stupid is pretty high now. Fair point. Part 3. The art of making something from nothing. They started gathering materials, Alava with the confidence of someone who'd done this 100 times, Lexa with the careful precision of someone who needed to understand the rules before she could break them. Okay, so I'm thinking. Alava held up a section of copper pipe. Maybe we could build a frame? Like a structure. For what? No idea. But we'll figure it out. Lexa picked up a gear, examining it. This is wild. I'm used to structure, schedules, routines, knowing exactly what happens next. And you're just creating chaos and calling it art. Is it working? Lexa looked around at the pile of random materials they'd accumulated. Honestly, kind of. They worked side by side, Alava welding pieces together with tools she'd brought, Lexa organizing components by size and function, because even in chaos, she needed some kind of system. You know what's funny? Lexa said, watching Alava work. I spend all my time teaching people to swim, teaching structure, technique, breathing patterns. But watching you just create without a plan? It's terrifying and beautiful. Alava looked up, safety goggles making her eyes impossibly bright. That's literally the nicest thing anyone said about my chaos. Your chaos has purpose. So does your structure. They smiled at each other, and Lexa felt warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the LA sun. An hour in, they'd built something that looked like a half-finished sculpture, metal pieces forming an abstract shape that could have been anything or nothing, depending on how you looked at it. It's not coming together, Alava said, frustrated. I don't know what I thought. Maybe we're missing materials, Lexa suggested. What if we need more than just metal? Alava's eyes lit up. The thrift stores. There are 3 within walking distance. We could find fabric, wood, anything. A junkyard date that becomes a thrift store adventure, Lexa laughed. This is the weirdest day of my life. Is that a bad thing? Not even a little bit. Part 4. The Thrift Store Treasure Hunt. The first thrift store smelled like mothballs and nostalgia. Racks of clothes from every decade crammed together, shelves overflowing with forgotten treasures. Alava moved through it like a kid in a candy store, touching fabrics, examining patterns, seeing potential everywhere. Look at this, she said, holding up a vibrant blue jacket covered in embroidered waves. It's perfect. It's ocean and chaos and it's beautiful, Lexa finished. Alava draped it over Lexa's shoulders. Try it on. I don't need. Try it on. Lexa looked at herself in the age-spotted mirror. The jacket fit perfectly, the blue matching her hair, the waves seeming to move in the light. She looked like herself, but more, like the version of herself she'd been too scared to be. You're buying that, Alava declared. It's not practical. Nothing beautiful is practical. That's the point. While Lexa examined the jacket, Alava gathered materials, silk scarves in deep purples and blues, cotton fabric with constellation patterns, ribbons that caught the light like water. What are you making? Lexa asked. I don't know yet, Alava admitted. But it's going to be beautiful. The second thrift store was smaller, more chaotic. Lexa found herself drawn to a display case of jewelry, costume pieces, mostly, but one necklace caught her attention. A simple strand of pearls, elegant and understated. Those are pretty, Alava said, appearing at her shoulder. They remind me of my grandmother, Lexa said softly. She used to say pearls are born from irritation, a grain of sand that becomes something beautiful because the oyster didn't give up on it. That's profound. She was profound. Lexa picked up the necklace, feeling the weight of it. She died when I was 16. She was the only person who ever made me feel like it was okay to not be perfect. Alava's hand found Lexa's, just for a moment. You should get them. They're probably expensive. $8, the shopkeeper called from across the store. Nice eye, honey. Alava bought them before Lexa could protest, pressing the small bag into her hands. Everyone needs something that reminds them they're enough. Lexa's eyes were suddenly wet. Thank you. Don't cry yet, Alava teased gently. We're not done building. Part 5. The business mind meets the artist's soul. At the third thrift store, Lexa's brain started doing the thing it did, calculating, planning, seeing possibilities. Wait, she said, stopping in the middle of the aisle. Alava, look at all this. I am looking. It's beautiful. No, I mean, Lexa gestured at the racks of fabric, the materials, the potential. You could do this professionally, not just cleaning houses. You could build things, sell them, teach people. This is a business. Alava blinked. A business. Yes, custom pieces, upcycled art, sustainable fashion. People pay ridiculous amounts for this stuff. You're creating beauty from things people threw away. That's a story. That's a brand. I don't know anything about business, but I do. Lexa was pacing now, her mind spinning. I've spent years studying business management because I thought I needed it for swimming. But this is where it actually matters. We could build a website, set up an online store, do local markets. Lexa stopped. I mean, you could do this. I just thought, if you wanted help. Alava was staring at her with an expression Lexa couldn't read. I'm sorry, Lexa said quickly. I'm being intense. I do this thing where I get an idea and I spiral and... Lexa, I plan everything out before I've even asked if it's something you want. Lexa, and it's probably overwhelming and I should shut up. Alava grabbed her hand. I love it. What? Your brain. Your business mind. The way you see possibilities I can't see because I'm too busy thinking it's impossible. Alava's eyes were bright. You see a stadium where I see scraps. You see an Olympic battleground where I see a mess. And maybe that's what I've been missing. What do you mean? I've been so focused on building my constellation, finding my people, creating this big, impossible family. But maybe the dream isn't just about finding people who fit. Maybe it's about finding people whose dreams fit mine, whose strengths balance my chaos. Lex's heart was pounding. Is that what you think I am? I think, Alava said carefully, you might be part of something I'm building. Even if we don't know what that something is yet. The thrift store disappeared. The world narrowed to just them, hands still connected, possibility hanging in the air like electricity before a storm. We should get back to the junkyard, Alava said softly. Finish what we started. Yeah, Lexa agreed, not moving. Lexa, yeah, this is a really good date. It really is. Part 6, the gift of seeing each other. Back at the junkyard, Alava spread out the fabrics and materials they'd collected. The metal sculpture they'd started looked lonely, unfinished. I don't think it wants to be a sculpture, Alava said thoughtfully. Then what does it want to be? I don't know, but I know what I want to make. She looked at Lexa. Can I measure you? Measure me for what? Trust me? Lexa nodded. Alava took measurements, waist, inseam, hips, her hands professional, but somehow intimate. Then she sat cross-legged on the ground and started cutting fabric with scissors she'd brought, humming softly to herself. Lexa watched her work, mesmerized. What are you making? You'll see. An hour passed. The sun started its descent, painting the junkyard in gold and amber. Alava worked with focused intensity, stitching pieces together, occasionally holding them up to check the fit. Okay, she said finally. Close your eyes. Alava. Close. Your eyes. Lexa closed them. She heard rustling, felt something soft pressed into her hands. Open. Lexa opened her eyes and looked down at the most beautiful pair of swim shorts she'd ever seen. The fabric was the blue from the jacket, waves embroidered across it, constellation patterns stitched into the hem with silver thread. The waistband was reinforced with copper wire they'd found, turned into decorative detail that looked intentional, artistic, perfect. I thought, Alava said softly, you should have something to wear when you finally go professional. Something that reminds you that broken things can be beautiful. That you don't have to be perfect to be extraordinary. Lexa couldn't speak. Her hands were shaking. And next time, Alava continued, a teasing note entering her voice. I'll work on a bathing suit top to match. But I figured I should master shorts before I attempt swimsuit engineering. Lex's voice cracked. This is the most beautiful thing anyone's ever made me. You deserve beautiful things. I don't know what to do, Lexa admitted, tears spilling over. With this. With you. With any of this. Alava stood, closing the distance between them. Then don't do anything. Just be here. Just be you. That's enough. What if I can't give you what you want? What if what I want is still being discovered? Alava's voice was gentle. What if we're both building something we don't have names for yet? Lexa wiped her eyes, laughing through tears. This is the weirdest, most beautiful date I've ever been on. I aim to confuse and delight. Mission accomplished. Part 7. The exchange of impossible gifts. I made you something too, Lexa said suddenly. Or, I'm making you something. It's not done yet, but... She pulled out her phone, opening a website mock-up she'd been building during her lunch break, unable to stop herself. I know it's presumptuous, Lexa said quickly. And you don't have to use it. But I thought, If you ever wanted to sell your art, you'd need a platform. So I started building a website. It's called Constellation Creations. She turned the phone toward Alava. The website was clean, professional, with dark backgrounds and bright constellation imagery. Sections for custom orders, a gallery, an about page with space for Alava's story. It was beautiful and functional and built with the kind of care that took hours. You made this? Alava's voice was barely a whisper. I know it's not as good as your gift. Lexa. Alava took the phone, scrolling through pages. You built me a future. You saw something I couldn't see, and you made it real. Is that okay? It's perfect. They stood there in the junkyard as the sun set, holding gifts they'd made for each other, one made of fabric and hope, one made of code and possibility. I'm not sure where this is going, Lexa admitted. What we're building. What we are. Neither am I, Alava said. But maybe that's okay. Maybe the best things are built without blueprints. Lexa looked at the swim shorts in her hands, then at the woman who'd made them. One step at a time? One step at a time, Alava agreed. Then, carefully, like she was handling something precious, Alava pulled out the pearl necklace from the thrift store and fastened it around Lexa's neck. There, she said softly. Now you're wearing a reminder that beautiful things come from irritation and pressure and refusing to give up. Lexa touched the pearls, feeling their weight. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me, Alava replied. For seeing what I could be, not just what I am. You're extraordinary exactly as you are. So are you. The tension between them was thick enough to taste, not sexual, not quite, but sensual in the way that mattered. The air felt charged with possibility, with almost, with not yet but maybe soon. I should take you home, Alava said, not moving. Yeah, Lexa agreed, not moving either. Lexa. Yeah. I'm really glad you said yes to the junkyard. So am I. They packed up the materials they hadn't used, loaded everything into Alava's chaotic car, and drove back through LA as the city lights came on like constellations. Part 8. The Parallel Realizations. Lexa stood in her apartment that night, wearing the pearl necklace and holding the swim shorts like sacred objects. This changes everything. She pulled out her phone and looked at the website she'd built, Constellation Creations, and imagined a future where Alava's art filled galleries, where broken things became beautiful, where impossible dreams became real. She imagined being part of that. She imagined Alava with others, the constellation she dreamed of, and felt something that wasn't quite jealousy, but wasn't quite acceptance either. Could she be part of something bigger? Could she learn to share this woman who saw beauty in broken things and built futures from junkyard scraps? She didn't know. But for the first time, she wanted to try. Across the city, Alava sat on her floor surrounded by plushies, holding the pearl necklace she'd bought for Lexa, her own matching strand she'd grabbed at the last second. She's part of the constellation, she told Constellation the plushie. I know it. I feel it. But she's not ready. Are you? The question sat heavy in her chest. She'd spent years building this dream of 7 to 9 people who loved each other like stars in formation. But what if the dream was more flexible than she'd imagined? What if Constellations could start with 2 and grow from there? What if Lexa was the first star and the others would find them when the time was right? One step at a time, she whispered to the darkness. We're building something beautiful, even if we don't know what it is yet. Her phone buzzed. Lexa, I'm wearing the shorts. Lexa, and the pearls. Lexa, and crying again. Lexa, thank you for today. Lexa, thank you for seeing me. Alava, thank you for seeing me back. Alava, the website made me cry too. Alava, we're a mess. Lexa, the best kind of mess. Alava, same time next week? Alava, I want to show you something else I'm building. Lexa, yeah. Lexa, I'm in. Lexa, whatever this is. Lexa, I'm in. Alava pressed the phone to her chest, smiling through tears. The constellation was beginning. And it was terrifying and beautiful and everything she'd dreamed of, even if it looked nothing like she'd imagined. End of Chapter 3. Author's Notes. Story Notes. This chapter is pure slice-of-life romance, the kind of date where nothing happens, but everything changes. Key developments. The junkyard as metaphor. Broken things becoming beautiful mirrors their own journeys. Gifts as love language. Alava makes Lexa swim shorts, acknowledging her dream. Lexa builds Alava a website, acknowledging her potential. Business meets art. Lexa's strategic mind complements Alava's creative chaos. Sensual tension without physicality. The intimacy of measuring, gift-giving, seeing each other. Pearl symbolism. Beauty from irritation, refusing to give up. Matching necklaces as connection. Thrift stores as treasure hunts, finding value in what others discarded. The we slip. Lexa says we could build before catching herself, foreshadowing collaboration. Themes explored. Creation as healing. Seeing potential in broken things, including ourselves. Different strengths complementing each other. Building futures without blueprints. The intimacy of being truly seen. Gifts that acknowledge who someone wants to become. Character growth. Lexa begins imagining a future outside her rigid structure. Alava realizes her constellation might grow organically rather than being planned. Both start seeing partnership as possibility, not threat. What's coming? Chapter 4 will escalate emotional intimacy. Alava shows Lexa what she's building, possibly her vision board/constellation planning. Feelings become harder to deny. The kiss that's been building might finally happen, and the question becomes urgent. Can they build a future together when their dreams still seem incompatible? Content warnings, emotional vulnerability, discussion of self-worth, tears, happy, gift-giving intimacy, sensual tension, exploration of different relationship models. Let me know if you want Chapter 4. Blue heart, purple heart sparkles.